Everyone has something in their life they wish they could do over.
You dropped the ball.
You dropped the ball. I've simply been known as the man who dropped the ball.
ML Elrick
did something so awful.
You remember, Reno remembers, the whole goddamn town remembers.
Okay, I remember.
Oh, I knew it! Oh.
So humiliating. So unforgivable.
Get out!
He'll never live it down.
You got no shame at all.
His only chance is to
leave town on the soul of Detroit.
You asked it around, get the questions out of my face. It's gone.
What are you doing? What are you doing? Come on.
That is not paid for by them. That is paid for by the people of Detroit.
You might be qualified, ML.
I'm not qualified for this job.
Let me tell you something. You want to go right now? Okay? You want to go right now?
All right. Hello, everybody. It is the Soul of Detroit. Let's get into it. I'm Marc. No Elrick here today. He is on the East Coast. He had to go see his Michigan State Spartans.
Don't lie, Marc. We just kicked him off of his own podcast.
Yeah, we might as well.
And here's the thing. His Spartans were done Saturday. As far as I know, it's Tuesday. That's plenty of time to get back from New York.
You know that cheapskate.
Excuse me, Boston. Sorry, Boston.
You know that cheapskate likes to expand it into a full vacation.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Let's not lie.
So we're here. You're in good hands with us three, Shawn, Erika, and me, Marc. And we have a lot of stuff to do today. I think we're going to do a Geek of the Week voting. Instead of just one.
We're not going to do Geek of the Week or Room 7609.
Yes, we are. Room 7609. I think the listener has a very good song. And I think it is right up Shawn's alley. And we have a new Patreon member. If you're not a Patreon member, you can subscribe to Patreon. And the only reason I bring that up is just you might want to stay through to hear what this guy's name is. But the first thing we need to get into, there's a new book out. Here it is. I'm holding it up. The Lions Finally Roar. It is written by Bill Morris. Bill joins us to talk about his book, which is kind of a history of the Detroit Lions. But Bill, I kind of found it to also be a history of William Clay Ford.
Yeah, that, and I hope also a little bit of history of Detroit. I set out to write the book, and I didn't want to just write a football book. I wanted to write a book about Detroit and the fans and the history of the sports and the music and the cars, and I wanted to get all of that in there. But yes, Bill Ford is certainly the center of the book, and his 50 years of ownership of the Lions is the main narrative thread of the book.
Well, regarding cars, I think you kind of point out that one of the reasons he bought the Lions is because his car, his baby, was the Continental II, was a total disaster.
Well, it was, I think, the most beautiful car Ford Motor Company ever made, but financially, you're right. It was a disaster. It cost $10,000. They lost $1,000 every time they sold one. And Ernie Breach and Henry Ford II and Robert McNamara weren't going to have that. So they killed the car when the company went public. And that, you're right, directly led Bill Ford to buy the Lions as kind of a second life. He realized he wasn't going to have a career inside the Ford Motor Company to speak of. And so he went outside the company, got the Lions, and the rest is history, I guess.
Well, the other reason I think he really wanted the Lions is, and I didn't know this, I'm 48. I know a lot about the Lions. Some of my early memories are going to the Silverdome with the family. I mean, I bleed Honolulu blue and silver. I don't know much about the early days of Bill, and I had no idea he was quite the partier. And I think the partying after the last championship in 57 did kind of influence his decision to buy it. But then his partying seemed to get in the way with a lot of stuff.
Oh, yeah. Well, his drinking was pretty widely known.
I call it partying.
Detroit.
Yeah, I was going to,
Drinking, partying, yeah.
Right, whatever you want to call it. But he ended up, my father was his executive assistant for 10 years, including when Bill bought the team. And so my father had a lot of very personal memories of his time he spent with Bill Ford, and that got into the book. But Bill Ford went into AA in 1965 and stopped drinking. He never drank for the last 40 years of his life, which was his infinite credit. And
did you just say bummer, Marc?
What happened? No, bummer that he couldn't control it.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant bummer that you went into AA. Okay, I'm sorry,
No,
Bill.
I'm a fan of whatever works.
Okay.
Yeah. Alcoholics Anonymous. Sorry.
Yes. I'm sorry, Bill.
Okay.
But first of all, I love that you are, you're able to tell this story. First of all, how long did it take you to write this book?
Well, about 3 years. When I started writing it, I'd been following the Lions distantly. I grew up in Detroit, and we had season tickets back at Briggs Stadium before it became Tiger Stadium. to date myself a little bit here, but I'd been following the Lions from afar after our family left Detroit in the late 1960s. And when Sheila Ford Hamp took over the team, I started to regain interest and started watching. And then she brings in this new general manager, a new coach, new regime. Everybody's very optimistic in Detroit, and they proceed to lose their first 10 games under the new regime. And that's when I started writing the book. My original working title, I was going to write a story about futility and, a half century of failure.
Right.
My original working title was Natural Born Losers.
Oh, great title.
And unfortunately, that title had to get flushed because they indeed turned it around while I was writing the book. So the ending changed while I was writing the book. I didn't write the ending I had anticipated writing when I set out to write the book.
I love it, though.
Well, to that point, what do you say to all the people that are like, they'll never win a Super Bowl as long as the Fords own it? Because it was I guess the narrative is that William Clay Ford didn't really care if they won or lost. But
right.
You're right. There's a great little anecdote in there that he also once kicked a hole into his television when they were losing to the Bears, and he had to run. How relatable is this? He had to run to the servants' quarters to finish the game on the radio, which the Lions ended up winning. But he truly did care if they won or lost, and I think a lot of Lions fans don't believe that.
Oh, I think he cared a great deal. He loved the team. And, all the players who I talked to who played for the Lions all have high respect for William Clay Ford. They love the Ford family. They knew the family was devoted to winning. They just didn't know how to pull it off until quite recently. But a lot of the people who knew Bill Ford tended to love him, and the people who don't know him tended to revile him over time. And that's how he died. I mean, he died. The Sports Illustrated wrote that he was the most hated man in Detroit when he died, and that's unfortunate because he really did. I do believe he really did care about the team.
I just want to say, and I don't necessarily want to hold this against you, Bill, but Mark, Erika, the listeners out there, Bill and I had an email exchange back in the late spring, early summer. We were talking about the book. Maybe get something in the free press, that sort of thing. And he wrote in one of these emails that he had a lot of respect for Carlos Menares. So I just, I'm not sure what that means.
You're not helping him sell books. No, I'm just kidding. That's not going to help him.
No. Bill, can you just again speak to the journalism is you go in thinking one thing and you come out thinking something completely different, right? I mean, you literally,
often, yeah,
absolutely. You and Erika knows as well. Marc, not so much. Although Marc is great. I do want to say too, our hosting quality has gone way up this week, and I'm not sure. I'm not sure why.
Addition by subtraction.
Addition by subtraction. No, but Bill, at what point, Bill, was it because the 0-10 they won?
Don't all that.
That first year of the Holmes Campbell regime, of what they win 3 of their last 6 or something like that, and then start off slow again the following season, 1-6. So did you go back and forth in that until they turned it around and won the 6-9 or 7-9 or whatever it was that second year?
Oh, I tell you, Shawn, I think that as I was researching and writing the book, I think that the turning point came right at that moment you spoke of just now. In the second season, I guess it was the 2022 season, they get off to a 1-5 start, something like that. And then Sheila Hamp shows up at the Allen Park training facility in the middle of the week. You may have been there.
I was.
Probably the reporters. And the reporters that gathered around her and turned on their tape recorders, and she launched into a sort of a soliloquy about, hey, look, I realize this hurts. Am I frustrated? Yes. Are the fans frustrated? Yes. But we're doing this through the draft. I believe in what we're doing. I believe in my people, and we're going to stick with this. And I think that was the turning point. And in the book, I say that I tried to analyze that. Why was that? Why did that happen? And I came to the conclusion that she believed in her people and her team and her organization because she had the steel to believe in herself. And that's something I think her father never had. He was bouncing all over the place like a pinball. And she stuck with what she was doing because she believed in herself. And I think that was the key to the turnaround of the team.
Well, her stick-to-itiveness, that was William Clay Ford's big problem, was he would stick with somebody who was inept for too long. I mean, she would at least fire people to get to
and try different things.
And it's kind of your point is good, Marc, because he stuck with Russ Thomas for 22 years, Chuck Schmidt for a dozen years, Matt Millen for 7.5 years.
Yeah,
Lord. I mean, that was the biggest disaster in the history of disasters. And so you're right, his loyalty was his Achilles heel because he was loyal to the wrong people for too long.
Yeah.
And the daughter turns out to have been loyal to the right people. And so that's a big difference right there.
And I'm curious in your reporting and thinking about this book, because a couple things to me stick out about her. One, first of all, I think she just understands human nature in a way that nobody that has owned that team or run that team in the past has. And I'll give you a couple of examples. Calvin Johnson gets the name in the Ring of Honor or whatever. Well, maybe that's the Cowboys and what they call it. But remember Calvin Johnson?
Oh, yeah.
And she steps out and she's on the field. I think it's at halftime. I want to say it's at halftime. And they start booing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you remember this? And she says, let him boo. And she's like, no, it's okay. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to take this 50 years because I'm connected to this family and they're and the way
that's what you gotta do.
The way she stood there and let that wash over her and absorb that. Okay,
so is she just
Calvin could have have his moment. That's one thing. Another thing is when Matt Patricia was fired and Bevel I think was the coordinator at the time and it was an intern head coach and they won their first. It wasn't their first game of the year, but they won a game. I want to say they beat Chicago. And I remember her talking after the game. The thing that she noticed was hearing laughter in the locker room for the first time in 3 years. Yeah. Because the Matt Patricia was such a downer and such a jerk. And Bob Quinn was whatever. There was a toxic cloud that hung over that headquarters in Allen Park. And she was so thrilled, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to be curious to see what she does, and that's exactly then, Bill. Sorry to go on so long here, but that's exactly what she wanted and who she got in Holmes and Campbell. It's the culture change.
So, are you saying that is she just more aware of the surrounding? Is William?
She's a natural leader who understands human beings. To me,
no, I think you're right. You're understanding human nature and understanding just.
Yeah, she's the reason that the franchise has turned around.
But
to me,
why wasn't William?
I'm curious what you think about that.
Why
Bill.
wasn't Old Man Ford that way?
Well, I think you got to also factor in the fact that Sheila was a jock when she was a kid. You know, she was a highly competitive state tennis champion as a teenager. Among the first women admitted to Yale, her father's alma mater, grew up during the feminist era. And I think all of that contributed to her character and her competitive streak. And
do you think the fact that she is a woman plays into it as well? Or do you think that's just me being a woman? And
you being a woman.
I'm sorry, what? The fact that I'm sorry, Eric, I didn't quite understand.
Just a lot of people say that women are in tune to emotions and things like that.
Well, I think it's kind of hard to argue with results. I think this is true. Shawn, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that when Martha Ford passed the team to her daughter, it was the first time in NFL history that a woman owner had passed ownership to another woman. And so
I think that's right.
There's something going on here with the ladies in Detroit. She's a smart woman, and she's got what it takes, apparently. And I think, the proof is out there right now.
Look, I don't want to fall too down the folksy rabbit hole, but I saw her in a grocery store in Ann Arbor within the last couple of years, just pushing her own cart. And we happened to kind of walk out almost at the same time, and she just gets into a little Bronco, whatever. Nobody's driving her around.
I love that.
You know what I mean? It's okay. So fine. It's a little bit of
she's not side swiping cars.
But she was
which she did.
She was so unassuming and so comfortable, and that's
and not to say that people need to be like that all the time, but to be able to be humble like that and know and just. And
then she went out.
With all of us peasants,
along with Chris Spielman, and she went out. And I'm curious what you think of this, Bill. If you agree with this, she went out and she kind of has remade this organization in that vein. That's what I feel when I'm over in Allen Park these days. That's what this coach in particular emanates every day.
What you're saying,
like you said,
Shawn,
they're hearing laughter now.
She's kind of comfortable inside her own skin,
exactly.
Which I think is a key. And you mentioned Chris Spielman. I think that bringing him in was crucial to the whole turnaround. I mean, she said, we tried to import the Patriot way from New England with Quinn and Patricia, and that was a disaster. We're going to make a Detroit team, and there's nobody more Detroit than Chris Spielman. I mean, he was a warrior linebacker, played hurt all the time, never missed a game. I mean, he was the man. And of course, Chuck Schmidt cut him loose when he had a few years left in him. And that's another story. That was the part of the reason why Barry Sanders quit early, that whole mess. But your point is good. And Chris Spielman, I think, was a very, very big part of this whole turnaround.
That reminds me too. So Schmidt, Joe Schmidt, head coach. He left, right, because of Russ Thomas and meddling and all that.
Yep. He told me, I talked to him on the phone not long before he died. And he told me that Monday mornings were like torture. He'd have to spend the whole afternoon locked in a room with Bill Ford and Russ Thomas, doing a post-mortem on every little mistake they made. He said it was torture. Oh. And he said when he finally walked in and quit, he's one of the only coaches to quit on his own and walk out the door. He said, I felt like I was let out of prison that day. And so that tells you a lot about the organization.
Well, that's how we feel today, to be honest with you, with our boss.
With Elrick
about 500 miles away. Yeah.
But then at the same time, I remember Matt Millen, and I would assume Russ Thomas to the same point. They loved those Monday morning meetings, even when they lost, because they just liked hanging out together.
Yeah, well, I don't know about Matt Millen. I spoke to Matt on the phone at some length, and he's an interesting guy in himself. Arguably the worst disaster of a sports executive in American sports history. And yet when I talked to him on the phone, you could not talk to a nicer, more articulate, calm, self-assured, sweet man. And wow. I came away from the conversation kind of admiring the guy because he has come to own his epic failure. He says, look, I won 4 Super Bowl rings. I was a great broadcaster. Bill Ford talked me into taking the job as a general manager. He tried to hire my father as a general manager. My father was a newspaper reporter and a PR guy, but Bill Ford liked him. He liked Matt Millen. He wanted Matt Millen. Matt Millen said, Mr. Ford, that's a great compliment, but I've never done this. I have no idea how to run a football team. You'll figure it out, Bill Ford said.
That's insane.
That's what he said to my father 40 years earlier. So he hadn't even a thing. And yet Matt Millen, to his credit, owns his failure. He's got his head up. He's got a life. He's got a happy family in Pennsylvania, lives on a beautiful farm. Yes, he had a failure in Detroit, and that's okay with him. And I kind of admire the man for that, I'll be honest with you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, if you can own it.
So you write in there, though, that there was a belief, and I didn't understand if this was true or not, that Russ Thomas had some kind of financial shares or some financial interest in the Lions. Is that true, or is that just still speculation?
John, you probably know more about that than I do. I've heard that story that he was tied into the profits of the team, and that was the source of his penny pinching. He was notorious at the bargaining table for trying to squeeze the players, and then including after they left, he would try to get their bonus money back or whatever. He was just everybody who dealt with the man said, you can't win with Russ Thomas. He's the most brutal negotiator in the history of the world. Why? I mean, he's working for one of the richest people on the planet. They had deep pockets before the salary cap, but he plausibly, I think he might have been, had a hand in the profits of the team, which would go a long way toward explaining his miserliness. But Shawn, I don't know if you know any stories about that stuff.
Not too much. That predates a little bit of my sports writing era, or sports writing time here. It was a different era, but I have heard similar things.
But he wasn't the only cheap one. I mean, Bill Ford was pretty cheap, unless he's buying his wife a gift, which is a great story. But he's one of those rich people that's like, you know what? Whatever that costs, I'll just take it. But then when it came to the Lions, he was incredibly cheap. Or he also walked out on restaurant bills because he
he never picked up a bar tab in his life.
They did have the worst press box food in the NFL for a long time
because he's cheap.
That's good. Yeah, that's nice. But he paid $6 million for the team in 1963, an unheard of sum, the most ever paid for a sports team. He buys his wife a $100,000 Degas bronze sculpture without even asking the price. Yet he won't pick up a bar tab. He won't draft Pete Beathard when the AFL and NFL had competing drafts because Kansas City offered him this huge $50,000 contract, and he said, "If I pay that, my whole team will fall to pieces." He could justify cheapness while being lavish in other things. That's kind of a schizophrenic mind. But that's he's a rich guy that he was brought up in a way that we'll never understand.
Yeah, but yet Sheila Fordham, I would assume, was brought up in a way we wouldn't understand, but just totally different character.
There you go. I mean, and there's it gets complicated. I realized when I was writing the book, I was watching the Raiders and the Lions on Monday Night Football last year at a Lions bar here in New York. And I realized Las Vegas Raiders, I hadn't been following football all that closely. The Raiders were from Oakland. No, they were from Oakland. They went to LA. They got back to Oakland. They went to Las Vegas because the owners playing cities off against each other. Self-made Al Davis, big Brooklyn tough guy. And I started thinking, well, you can't just say that rich guys make bad owners and self-made guys make good owners because it goes both ways.
It certainly does. You were just talking about character, and yeah, it does go both ways.
Was there ever
Sheila grows up in the lap of incredible wealth and turns out to be a completely different person from her father. Al Davis, the Irsays, Dan Snyder in Washington, self-made people who were horrible football team owners. And so it's not as simple as I thought it might be when I started out. You have to acknowledge these nuances.
Irsay reminds me, was there ever a time, because I've heard this rumor too, where there was talk about moving them out of the market? Like, would Ford ever have moved the Lions out of this market?
Well, that's, to the family's credit. I mean, the move to Pontiac, you could say he left Detroit, but he stayed in southeastern Michigan. And Bill Ford Jr., to his infinite credit, was an architect of the construction of Ford Field, the breaking of the lease in Pontiac. And he said, the Ford family is Detroit, and the Lions are Detroit, and we're not going anywhere. And I think that is a great credit to the Ford family. And, I think that's a wonderful thing. And look, the Lions fan base statewide and nationwide now, if they left Detroit, that would be just complete insanity. There's no more loyal, crazy fans.
Absolutely not.
The Cleveland never thought they'd lose the Browns. So then you got Art Modell, right?
I was at a stadium 2 days ago in Glendale, Arizona, and there were probably 35,000 Lions fans there.
Yes.
Really? I don't doubt it. That's amazing. Yeah.
That must help the book then. How's the book selling nationwide? Is it?
It's all over the place. I hope it's selling on the West Coast and down south and everywhere. There's a lot of people have left Michigan, as you guys know, and they've sold like Tampa Bay. Half the stadium last year was Tampa with blue shirts in Tampa Bay, and they traveled to Kansas City. I don't think a lot of people moved to Kansas City, but New Orleans, Houston.
No, Phoenix is Phoenix and Arizona and Florida are two of the places where it's a mix of fans from here that have traveled, but also expats.
Right. And there's I did a novel called Motor City Burning, I think 10 years ago. And I was down in Wilmington, North Carolina, of all places, at a bookstore, and it was packed. And everybody there was a retiree from Michigan who had moved down from Michigan to be by the beach in North Carolina. I was stunned. I had no idea. And I walked into this room full of Michigan people in North Carolina. So there you go.
Well, and I was telling you before the show, it's a really easy read. I'm kind of slow, so I like simple, easy reads. A lot of history in there that I didn't even know. There's a great story about them cleaning the Silverdome AstroTurf and shipping it away on a train, which is ludicrous. There's just so many little stories like that. It's a great book, Bill. Good luck. The Lions finally roar. Thank you for joining us today.
Thanks, Bill.
Thanks, Bill.
And how about
thanks to all of you. I really appreciate this.
And how about that, Shawn? The Lions, 2-1, Super Bowl bound, right?
Well, we'll see.
Oh, come on!
Oh, it's always
we'll see.
It's always a little awkward. Not for the listener, but for me, of course, because Bill and I had an email exchange, and I said, "Yeah, I'll read your book. I'll write about it in the Free Press, maybe late in the summer, earlier in the fall." Now here he is. That never materialized. I had other people. Yeah, I feel like a fool.
You should feel like a fool.
Yeah,
total fool.
Well, because you are. Why don't you return his?
I did. I responded to him, but I get a lot of. I get a lot of emails from people that want to promote stuff, right?
Right, and we just had him, and it was fun talking to him.
Well, and Bill McGraw. Do you guys know Bill McGraw?
Yes. Oh yeah.
Detroit Almanac. Historian. Yeah, great Free Press journalist. He's the one that what's the word? He's the one that reached out first for this. Okay. So I felt like it's a little different than just a random public relations firm sending me, here's the latest book on whatever.
Right.
So, but still,
I'll give you the book because it's a good read. I don't know. Have I said that yet? That it's a good read. I think so.
Well, let's be real. If I haven't read it by now, I'm probably not going to read it. That's not true. That's just
what a dick.
Wow.
I'm just being silly. Of course, I'm going to read it.
And the true Larry David is coming out.
He's your spirit animal. Larry David.
That's not really. No, I would never drive a Prius.
Really?
That's the only difference.
Really?
No.
Kind of surprises me. What do you drive? I don't even know what you do drive. What do you?
Just a boring old Honda guy.
Oh, okay. Not even a Ford.
You can choose the car you drive.
I just like cars that blend in.
You don't have to.
I'm happy to blend in. I'm an observer more than a look at me type of a human being.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Well, if
What are you doing while you're
What's that?
blending in?
Just running down the road with thousands of other people in my boring little Honda.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I mean, what do you drive? A big old SUV?
An Explorer. Ford Explorer.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mark likes to explore.
I like to support America and the Lions.
Well, my car was built in Ohio. I like
What? Well, because it's a Honda, right? You just have to point that out.
I've just been, No, mileage matters to me because I'm in my car a lot. So,
you know what else should matter to you? Your eyesight. How's that for a segue?
Yes.
No, I can't see shit.
That's great. That was a very ML segue.
I know. Well, if you can't see shit, Shawn, you know who you should call? Dr. Yaldo, right? 80% of Americans eventually get cataract surgery. 99.5% report zero post-op issues of any kind. So when we tell you about Dr. Yaldo's clear view lens that gives you 20/20 or better vision at all distance, it means no more readers, bifocals, or contacts. For how long? For life.
Forever.
Forever. It's totally true. The clear view is the ultimate multi-focus lens. That's why pre-cataract age people in their 40s and beyond love it so much. And this is the last week of Yaldo's 20% off sale on the Clearview. And so if you want to finally fix your vision, now's the time to do it. Sign up at yaldoeyecenter.com. Get a free evaluation, nothing wrong with free, and see and learn how the Clearview implantable lens can change your life. Got that?
I got that.
Got it.
Did you know that if Donald Trump wins in November, it's the end of the nation?
And if Kamala Harris wins in November?
It's the end of our nation.
Yes.
Exactly. So since you're going to be screwed either way, why not ask Luke Nowacki to look over your portfolio and give you help in managing all your investments before the country explodes like the last days of Rome? What do you have to lose? Because you can't lose more than 100%.
Everything.
So, yeah. Well, I mean, the country's going to blow up anyway, right?
Exactly.
So why not make some more money? Give them a call, 248-663-4748, because when you're talking Luke Nowacki, it's all about you, sweetheart.
Securities and investment advisory services offered through Mosaic Wealth. Inc. member FINRA-SIPC. Mosaic Wealth. Inc. is separately owned, and other entities and or marketing names, products, or services referenced here are independent. Mosaic Wealth. Inc.
All right, Erika, here you go. That's for you. That's for you to read now.
That's for
Ooh.
That's your own personal sponsorship, in case you didn't know that.
The Caju Cafe.
It's also just a minute long, so. I mean, if you want to make it 2 minutes like Elrick does.
Let's talk about the Caju Cafe. It's the pride of the East Side. Remember when we were talking about it last week?
Yes.
And
is this all in the copy?
Well, no. But we were talking about Shawn and his body last week.
Wait, what?
Shawn was talking about his nips.
Is that in the copy?
That's right.
Is this also in the copy?
This is in the copy. The Caju Cafe is the pride of the East Side, where you'll find great eats, dope beats, and feather bowling. Start your week off right with Muscle Madness every Monday, when the Caju dishes up all-you-can-eat muscles as strong as Shawn's. Tuesday, see the Max Axton Band. Wednesday, it's karaoke. Friday, it's Super Crunch. On Saturday, Huckleberry Groove takes the stage. Then end the weekend on a high note. I can't read ML's writing.
I know. That's why I had you read it.
With something really cool on Sunday. Can't read it. For more on music and the menu, go to cajucafe.com, where you can probably read the copy a lot better than what he seems to write for us.
Nice singing voice.
Let's hear yours.
I don't know.
Oh, I can't sing at all.
I can't sing at all.
Really?
I can't sing at all. No.
That was my fake.
What, almost joking singing voice?
May I just?
Yes, you may.
If I go back, just
here
a
we
couple
go.
minutes, just
to your body?
in my defense. No, not to my body. Nobody wants to hear that.
You're right.
If I could just,
or no one wants.
If I could just go back to my boring Honda, I did.
You keep calling it that. It could be this really cool Honda.
It's
but
not
you
cool
keep
at all.
calling
But
it
it's
the boring Honda.
It's nice to drive. It's not cool at all. But I rode a motorcycle for
we know
10 years.
You stole one.
He's like, just so
I
you
had my
know,
own.
I was cool.
No, I was never cool, but that was all I had for a long time. So I somehow went from a bike.
Why don't you get a bike again?
I still have it on my license. It's funny. I haven't been on a bike and
really.
Now you have to get one.
No. I have a friend who has a Ducati that I jump on but just in the
What?
neighborhood. Once
Wait
in
a
while.
minute.
That does not fit your image. I don't know why.
But I have no image, right?
Yeah,
Hey,
you're a man of mystery. I'll tell you
the
that.
most
You
most
keep
pimped out
saying
thing.
we're going to keep learning new things about Shawn, and you are not lying, Mark.
He's a deep well.
He really is.
The most pimped out thing I've ever
Wow, of a man.
driven was a Ford Flex, and I remember when we first got it, it was black. And
He's actually flexing while he's saying
it
this,
was
too.
black. I'm imagining holding the steering wheel, and I remember I felt so uncomfortable driving that thing off the lot. It was black. I'd never had a black car before. It was black interior. I'd never had a black leather. I'd never had a car with leather in it before. I was just a boring cloth guy, the base model kind of a guy.
Cloth guy.
The base model kind of a guy. And I remember I was so self-conscious, and I'm not
I think
normally.
it's time to step back into your
You know what I mean?
leather
Ford Flex.
and
That's
flex
pretty pathetic that was the most.
your muscles into your.
And people really hated or loved that car, right? Because it's a box.
Yeah. Not my favorite.
People had strong feelings
They're
about that
hideous.
got
Let's be honest.
Yeah, I thought they were awesome.
Got a little Hursty feel to it.
Oh.
Wait, ML drove a Ford
So I was
Flex
driving
for a
the-
while.
Exactly.
Oh, did he really?
Yes.
Okay, now
I remember
now I regret that I ever
I remember
drove
I saw one in the Fox 2 parking lot. I'm like, who drives that? And I think ML got into it.
You
And I was
didn't like the
oh,
classic
Of course he does.
stylish?
Are you a car snob? Because you have a. Yeah, there it is. Do you want to say what kind of car you drive?
I will say I drive a red Camaro. But
Well,
I have
stepping out
driven
there.
really awful cars, so I'm
Like
allowed
what?
to be a car
What?
snob.
You can drive whatever you want. No one's not going to judge.
I drove an 87 Nova with it had one mirror on it, and I actually was ticketed for the not having another mirror. And I told the cop, I said, these were made they were only made with having one. And he's like, I don't care. And he gave me the ticket. I was like, how's this fair?
I drove an
And
81.
then it just blew up on the freeway. It was like
I drove an
smoking,
81
and I'm like,
Nova.
all right, it's dead.
Yeah.
You drove a what?
81 Nova.
Nice.
Color of piss.
Is that what you asked for?
No, it's not. It's not. The block blew up. Inline 6. I remember that. Yeah.
Is that what you asked?
Well, I mean, who describes the? I mean, my piss can be multiple colors. By the way, Shawn.
It was an
dark
old-
yellow, or
But
is
it wasn't one. It wasn't
Did
one
it
of the
need
cool.
to drink more water?
Novas were cool in the 70s, but then they got into the 80s, and there was nothing cool about them.
They were hideous.
But in the 70s, the Nova was kind of cool. I remember the people that drove Camaros in high school, but that was a different era, right?
Mm-hmm.
My brother had a Camaro. It was a sweet.
There's
car.
a Butterface Camaro year that I would never buy, and the logo is they only did it for a year. I think they realized it was hideous.
Which was cooler, the Camaro, or the Trans Am?
Only
The
if it has
Trans
the
Am
eagle on
used
the
to
hood.
be cool. I had a friend in high school who had a Trans Am.
Really?
We thought he was the coolest.
It was the coolest.
He also had a Cadillac. I don't know.
What?
Maybe he was selling drugs.
I was just saying, how was this guy get all these cars in high school? He had a whole fleet.
I know. I think he was selling drugs or something.
I do like the
in
fact.
Canton.
I do like the fact too that you asked for a red car, so you really.
I did not
flashy.
ask for a red
okay.
car. I
Yeah.
wanted black on black, like a Batmobile.
Yeah,
I was
Why'd you take
I was
a red
hell
car?
bent on black on black.
You wanted people to look?
No,
because they didn't have the color of piss.
they didn't have the piss car. I went in because I really wanted the urine color.
Did you?
Specifically,
Ended up with the
Instead,
with
you
red.
got a.
and I wanted it to smell of asparagus urine too.
Oh,
Now you have a
see.
kidney
Yeah,
infection
yeah.
color.
Oh, good lord!
A UTI color.
What are we doing to his podcast?
I don't know.
The geeks have inherited the earth.
Did I do that?
What a dork.
Does him wanting to play with us again mean that he's turning into a geek, or we're turning into cool guys?
All right. You guys ready to vote?
Yes. What do you have?
Shawn, are you ready to vote?
Whatever you say.
I just like making Shawn pick a side to
I know.
something.
The world needs people that think they don't know everything, right? A few
And
of us.
this isn't
a few of us.
This isn't who's the worst in this.
I mean,
It's
can't
just-
we?
Who's the worst?
We're
with something?
down a narcissist today. I don't necessarily want to feel.
I think it'll be fairly easy for you.
That was so mean. I love it.
How was that mean?
Well, it's great too because he can't respond.
Was that mean?
No, I didn't think it was mean. He'll be fine.
Yeah, he'll be fine. We love him.
No, he'll be fine.
I love him.
I thought it was great.
He's not a narcissist.
He drove a Flex. He can't be a narcissist.
Yeah, he's not.
Does like to talk about himself though.
Just because he puts
what does he drive
periods,
now?
just because he puts periods in his first name doesn't mean he thinks he's special. What's that?
What does he drive now?
Actually,
he's
kind
got
of
a
a cool
Buick.
car.
Doesn't he have an old Buick?
Yeah, he does. It's kind of cool.
Okay, that's
But
all right.
everything now that's 30, 40 years old is cool. Even the Pinto is probably cool now. Like if you showed up here, Erika, in a Pinto, that would be cool.
I would.
Things cycled back around.
I mean, you might think it's cool. I think other people might go.
Well, people understand what's cool would know that it's cool if you showed up in a Pinto, right? You would own that. That'd be awesome.
My car is so nondescript that they're
all nondescript.
You see auto dubs everywhere.
They're not. I mean, urban gray is the color that stands out now. What does that say about our?
That's what I drive. It's gray.
Gray landscape.
It's piss gray. That's what
the car that I'm thinking about getting and.
You're in the market?
I'm probably going to get one this week. Is also gray.
Oh, well, maybe
they call it meteorite gray.
This is all a sign that you need to get your motorcycle.
I'm like a meteor, huh? They call it meteorite gray. Just scorching across the sky.
Do you care? Do you care what color your car is? I know, obviously Erika does. She wants.
I care more about the interior.
I wanted black, and I was convinced to get the red, and I love the red. It's fun.
Okay.
And no, I don't get pulled over.
I could not care less what color my car is. You know why?
Really?
Because usually I'm inside it, so I don't care what.
I care more about the interior color than I do the exterior.
That's fair.
Color. Yeah.
That's fair. I don't care.
Like I don't want lights.
No, I no.
Makes no
What
difference.
do you mean no?
There's no.
I don't want to sit in a cream light colored leather or cloth or what.
Well, no, the interior matters also, but the exterior matters too.
You see it for 2 seconds.
Am I the only person who thinks about my car as my?
But an extension of you. But look at us.
Not an extension of me, but I just. I don't know. I love cars.
It's like your shoes, right? People are going to pay attention. Look at us, though. Look what we look like, dude. We look like a couple of people. They're going to care about what people think about what we're driving around in.
All right, full disclosure.
I like what I drive around.
My other car, I'll tell you what the other car is. And sometimes I don't like driving it because there's a stigma to it, but it's a black Escalade. And it's like, there's a certain kind of person.
What do you do when you're driving
stigma?
that, Mark?
I run through people and around people and all over people. But
So it changes your attitude is what you're saying.
No. I think it changes the way other people look at the car.
That's a big car.
It's huge. I love it.
Do you know what I noticed too?
What's that?
When I'm driving in the Camaro, people will flag me over when I'm at stop signs.
Yeah.
People will let me by.
Yeah.
People try to race me, which is I don't want.
Do you win?
I don't do that.
Okay, let's be real. Right? Can we get real here for a second?
Yeah.
Without getting too personal.
Yeah.
I don't like where this is going.
You don't like where this is
going?
going?
Go ahead. I like being uncomfortable.
Is it the car or is it because of you?
The attitude. Oh. They don't always see who's driving it.
You sure?
Oh. I did drive. I was telling Mark before the show, I drove a red LeBaron convertible and I got pulled over all the time.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
the convertible was not a nice car.
I mean, it's
yeah, because they can see you.
I don't think they can see me all the time.
Yeah, they can.
People that are
no, teach me.
People that have certain characteristics and how
teach
they
me
look
about life, guys.
No, people that have certain characteristics about how they look go through life in a slightly different way. I mean,
yes, they do.
That's
I
true
agree.
It's true for men too, right? It's true for men and women. I mean, it's not just women.
I get pulled over all the time because of how I look.
It's more
like a white, fat,
it's more
white
pronounced.
What?
It's more pronounced with women, obviously, but good-looking men go through life in a completely different way.
I just don't like as again. I was telling Mark before the show that don't pull me over and say, "Oh, do you want to try on my hat?" When I'm busy trying to get to school.
That happened.
I
mean, I can't believe it happened, but I also can't believe that happened, which makes me feel like that guy's had success with that before.
He probably has. This was a Canton cop when I was.
So how was the date?
I told him I had stuff to do. If you're not going to give me a ticket, I need to be on my way.
Whoa, yikes.
And what'd you say?
He let me go.
He wrote you more tickets?
He acted like he was doing me a favor not giving me a ticket when I whipped around my corner on Haggerty and Ford and my red LeBaron convertible.
Erika, let it be known, he did do you a favor by not giving you a ticket.
But I didn't whip around the corner.
Tell that to the judge.
exactly. And that's the power that some of these officers have, but there are a lot of good officers out there.
By the way,
the vast majority. Yeah.
What are we filming?
I'm not filming anything. I was
You're just playing with your
He's filming you.
your stick over there.
I was setting it up and then I got too distracted.
What do you call that?
By you talking about your motorcycle.
It's called a Shawn stick.
This is a little mini tripod.
A mid tripod. That's right.
It looks like a selfie stick, but it's a mini
It's a
tripod.
selfie stick. That's
All
what I
right.
was thinking.
You're not off the hook. Are you ready to judge?
I
Yes.
will do whatever you guys say. Judge is probably harsh.
You heard that? He'll do whatever we say.
It's probably
That
harsh.
opens up a whole world.
He'll do
That's a
whatever
little
we
harsh.
say.
The first one is the story I know you know.
I thought this was a judgment-free zone.
No sense. Why?
No, that's Planet Fitness.
Because the guys
here.
in Boston.
Since when? We pass tons of judgment on this show.
All the time.
Okay.
Do you ever listen?
If
Even
you don't
when
want to
you're
be
here?
judged, go to Planet Fitness.
Not
You're going
really.
to be judged here.
Oh,
Well, since I'm going to fly through these, but
Nice.
except for the last one, because I'm going to maybe get
All right.
passionate.
All right, we're voting. Let's do it.
All right,
The
let's
first
vote.
one is the gubernatorial candidate for North Carolina, Marc Robinson.
Yes.
Do you guys know that story?
A little bit.
A little bit. Yeah, you might need to.
It was revealed that he liked to comment on porn sites.
Oh,
And
yeah.
granted, this
The
is
black Nazi comment.
black. Yeah, he calls himself a black Nazi. He's talking about bringing in
Oh, God. Yeah.
slavery. He also talked about enjoying transgender porn, not to kink shame, but, judging from his platform, I don't know if that's something you'd want out there.
Always the case. Right?
Peeping on women's locker rooms. I got to tell you, I went deep and found some of the posts.
Oh, you went deep. How deep did you go?
It was these
Oh,
posts
God.
are creepy enough that I don't even want to read them. I don't want to read them on the show. If Erika wants to read them, she can read them on the show, but they're pretty graphic in his description. I mean, he's commenting on porn videos.
How long ago were some of those?
I think it was 2011, I want to say.
What is wrong with him?
I'm gonna edit out and see what I can read from it.
Okay, we get the gist.
No. Fellas, let your girl think she's in control and you can do what you want. I've been married 18 years. I've been effing whoever I want, when I want, including my wife's fine-ass sister who does threesomes with me and another girl we know. We both love that ATM thing.
I like the way you're changing your voice, by the way.
And there's nothing like having your something done and something else done while deep in something else.
Porn narrator voice. Is that it?
Yes, there he's.
So he's candidate number one. His whole staff has quit on him, and this guy could easily be the next governor of North Carolina.
Oh my gosh.
Marc Robinson. So that's a fun story. And go look online if you want to read the
What's
full.
number two?
Number two. You saw the Dan Campbell story, correct? About his home
Oh
being
yes.
doxxed. I think
Yeah, he had to
Ducati
move.
did that story, right?
Yeah.
That was a really interesting story. But more information has been released as to how he was doxxed and what happened. A schoolmate of one of Dan Campbell's daughter put it out on Snapchat when they lost to the Cowboys, and it just spread like wildfire. Now it became a problem when they lost to San Francisco in the NFC Championship. His daughter and her boyfriend were at the home. And people just started showing up, I guess, out of anger because the Lions lost. And it got so bad that the boyfriend had to go out there and like flash the headlights to say, hey, somebody's here. Somebody's home right now. Can you please disperse? And Dan and his wife called him and said, get out of there. Go. Just leave. Go somewhere else. So it was a lot.
Just because they lost?
I guess it was more dangerous than we first thought. Okay, a few contractors coming over.
Right.
But no, it sounded like after that Dallas game in week 17 and then the NFC Championship game, people showed up and were yelling things out the window.
Oh
at the
my
house.
gosh.
So that's geek number two, the person that doxed him. Ready?
Wow.
And my final one is just panda bears in general. I fucking hate panda bears. Do you guys like pandas?
How can you hate panda bears?
Because they are a load on society. They have no interest they only eat one thing. So
pandas are more of a load on society than the first person you just mentioned?
Well, I mean, this is a whole species I'm talking about. That's just one loser. Hear me out. They're the pickiest eater, right? They only eat one thing. Got that, Shawn? Get off your phone.
I do. Sorry. I was just
they have to be like forced into having sex with each other. They don't want to have sex. They're just loads. They don't do anything.
Wait.
But because they're attractive, they get a lot of attention.
what we were saying earlier.
Exactly. But now they're also big menaces. Have you seen this video? Look at this panda. This is a panda attack in China. Have you ever seen a panda move that quick for anything?
Well, what did the lady do?
Nothing. She was probably trying to tell it to have sex or to eat something different than bamboo. And here it is attacking a keeper in China. And look how lazy this piece of shit is. That it's just done now. Didn't even finish the job there.
Okay, let her go.
Yeah, and now I'm just on to my boring life where I do whatever I want. I don't know. I've never liked panda. I've never understood why panda bears are so beloved.
I'm going to convince Mark to like pandas, first of all.
But if Darwinism is a thing, shouldn't they have been like...
I hear this all the time.
Thank you!
The company... No. No, I don't totally
I thought I had one of you on my side.
What do you mean, what do they do?
Sick of all the Marks of the world.
They have provided, second only probably to cats, incredible internet content for the last 10 years.
Oh, that's just what we need.
Rolling down the hill,
more
falling
content.
falling off of slides, the way they move, and they're just so carefree, and they don't get hurt. They're made out of rubber.
They have little raccoon faces.
They're lazy.
Yeah, it's fabulous. It's absolutely fabulous. The entertainment
Think
value
of all the
provide,
human resources that are going to keep these pandas operated.
Not that much.
No.
A ton. What are you talking about? And China uses them
I want to
for
see I want to
diplomacy?
I want to see graphs and data of all these resources that are going into this.
Oh my God, tons.
I mean, clearly the doxer is, to me, by far the biggest geek.
Okay.
Because you're putting somebody in potentially.
My vote's clearly pandas, but
the fact that you might be the geek now because you put pandas with those other
I think
two.
we're going to have to pick Mark.
Oh, come on. The first Mark, the gubernatorial candidate.
The fact that you put pandas in
The
there
first
with
one, yeah. I was going to pick the first one, but now you're just really hating on pandas.
Pandas suck. I'm sorry.
You like cat videos better? Or
Oh my God, cats are the best.
Or cats are awesome.
Cat videos are pretty good.
Or panda videos.
I don't know how someone could hate pandas.
They don't do anything but suck resources out of countries.
Well, maybe if we didn't steal them out of their habitats.
They weren't going to go anywhere. They weren't going to reproduce.
Wait, and also, what's this forcing them to have sex thing?
They only like procreate once a year for like, and the window is small. And
so why are we forcing them?
So they're not driven by their libidos.
Because they should have just died out, Erika.
So then let them die out. Let them just die out.
That's what I've been saying. Let them die out.
If they don't want to have sex, then maybe they're mad that we're forcing them to have sex, and that's why they're angry. Maybe that's why that lady got beat up.
They're the most pampered
Maybe she deserved it.
Have you not seen Kung Fu Panda?
Yes, that's a great movie.
One of the great animated movies in the last 20 years.
Based on a true story, right? What are you talking about?
I mean,
There's an all-night party in room 7609. And you can dance together all night if you've got the time.
Shawn, did you pick a song this week?
No, I had something for once interesting to say, and I forgot it. And it's been irritating me for the last 10 minutes.
Well, everything you say is interesting. I don't know what
That's
you're
not
talking
true.
about.
It was about my trip and coming back, and I wanted to get
tell
your
me.
opinion on something about both of y'all, and I can't remember.
Aw.
I know. Oh, well.
It'll come to you in a couple years.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, exactly.
On
I'm
the
like
ride
the guy
home
at
in
the
his
dinner party that's,
Honda.
10 minutes behind the conversation, and somebody says something funny, and then I try to comment on it 15 minutes later, right? Okay. That's me.
Well, David sent an email in. He has a song for us today for room 7609.
Thank you, David.
Ooh.
And I really think I knew this song. It's a great song. I really think this is saying something. I'm going on a limb. I think you're going to like this, Shawn, because there is
I like everything.
No, you don't. I'll tell you this much. It's not new wave. Do you know who Nathaniel Rateliff is in the Night Sweats? Either one of you guys?
And the Night Sweats.
Yeah, that's the band is the Night Sweats.
Oh.
So this is a performance that David wanted us to check out from the Tonight Show of him performing a song with his band. And the Roots actually performed too. So it's a big, big ensemble. And I'll tell you a little bit more about the song after we play it.
Oh, just think of the time. Thought it looked so strange. Said you never knew. While I try my best, hey, to cover our eyes. It's a common way to blame and hide the truth. I know that some will say that matters but little, babe. Come on and mean it to me. I need it so bad. I needed to try, needed to hold. I needed to look, I'm falling down the way. I need to never get old. Standing in the rain, mean what you said, oh, and mean it to me. All in these lines, oh, and never again. Come on and say, and now say it again. I know that some will say it matters a little bit. Come on and mean it to me. I need it so bad. Oh, mean it to me. I need it so bad.
Nathaniel Rateliff in the Night Sweats. I need never get old.
I like that.
Isn't that a cool song? I mean, that whole album.
It's a very cool song. Great voice.
Did that song remind you a little bit of Otis Redding, Can't Turn You Loose, which the original version, very slow, but then the Blues Brothers did it. A much faster version. The intro for the Blues Brothers, the doot, 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 and the Michigan band plays it now.
I was wondering what it reminded me of.
I think it sounds like that. Now, what's interesting is that whole album was recorded by Stax Records, which Stax Records is Otis Redding, all that Southern soul blues from the late 60s. But if you like that kind of stuff, check out that album, and thanks, David, for...
What's the name of the album again?
The album itself, I knew you were going to ask me that because I'm not prepared to answer it.
Thank you, David, by the way. Can we start just playing Otis Redding or Al Green?
Yeah.
Or Al Green or whatever?
Sure.
Ooh.
Whenever you pick a song.
I mean, just no more Smiths.
Do you guys feel that he's yelling at the podcast as he's listening to it? Do you think he's even going to listen?
Oh, he'll listen, of course. How can he not?
And then just
he's not on it.
Start yelling and because he's not on it.
Yeah, that's why. So why would he listen if he's not on it?
Oh, he's not going to yell. He's going to laugh. He's going to smile. He's going to love that we're talking about him.
And then he'll get back as fast as he can.
He's like Trump. He just wants to be talked about.
Do you remember? Do you remember what you were going to talk about? Did it hit you?
I do not.
About your trip?
I do not.
Did something happen?
Can I offer suggestions?
No. Sure, offer some suggestions.
Since you're a writer, can you write it down next time?
Can I write it down next time? Oh, this is not it. But I was.
Oh, you were so close. I thought it came to him.
No. This isn't it. But it was. I was just thinking about where we are. In part, I was getting a quick snack right outside right next to the gate, the Sky Harbor at Phoenix Airport yesterday.
Terrible,
whatever that was. It's not bad. No, they've renovated.
Have they? Okay, it's been a while since I've been there.
The Delta Wing's not bad. I was in the Delta Club. And
but
no, I know. It's just because
Mr. Delta Club.
No, it's just because I travel a lot. That's all it is. It's not because I'm anybody.
You don't have to use. They make you use it.
And it's full of Lions. There are Lions fans everywhere. Lions fans at the gate.
But you'd rather be behind the velvet rope in the club.
Lions fans in the club, and there are three kind of big, the gold chains and certain looking kind of guys.
What a stereotype.
No. In their 50s, and they're talking, and I'm next to them, and one of them is talking about how he doesn't understand white people in San Francisco that love Kamala Harris, and then another one says, well, how about Taylor Swift? And then another one says, well, she's a cat lady, and another guy then says, I don't understand it. And
get out your phone and start recording.
I've got friends who like Harris, and I don't understand it. And another guy says, well, fuck them. and this is a loud conversation. And I just thought, oh my God, this is really where we're at. The fuck 'em part was
right.
What
did these people know each other? Or the only thing they had in common?
They knew each other. They were in Lions gear, whatever, and they're going back to.
I'm always amazed when people lose relationships over political beliefs.
Yeah, it was the fuck 'em part. And I said, this made me sad. I'm like, you're Lions fans. You're about to get on a plane with, and the plane, by the way, it chanted, "Let's go Lions." I always do. It's amazing. Cool. But they're all these different backgrounds. The players, NFL locker rooms are really diverse in terms of political opinions. Probably more so than any other sport we have. Like basketball is mostly
left,
liberal. Yeah. Baseball is mostly conservative, except for Venezuelan players or whatever. Right?
I think hockey's pretty conservative too.
Yeah. I was wondering, is that
it's a little bit of a mix. You might get Canada's version of conservatism, which is still probably liberal to us, but yeah, football's where it's the most mixed politically to me, right? And these guys
number one sport, so yeah,
these guys.
That's
they're
true.
the most players. There are 53 players on an NFL team, and they're from different backgrounds. So no, I just thought it was interesting just hearing that. Well, fuck them.
It's so dismissive, isn't it?
I know.
And the Taylor,
what do you even say to that?
And the other guy saying, "Well, Taylor Swift," and I don't necessarily love her music, but I respect her. She's what she's doing and what she's. I don't mean politically. I mean just what she's.
Oh my God! Everything she does is
massive.
Is perfect.
It's really impressive.
I'll give you.
It's a little creepily perfect.
Well, maybe that's.
I'll give you a prime example of that.
Maybe that's a good point.
I was watching the MTV Video Awards. I'm probably one of 5 people that watched it. And
you watched the whole show?
I speed through it mainly for content.
Yeah.
But she wins an award and she goes up there and she says a thing that had been on my mind earlier in the day, but I don't think anybody else in that place had thought about. She goes, hey, it's 9/11 today. We're in New York. Like mentions that the fact that it is September 11th, that most people, it's kind of fading away. And like, God, she does everything perfectly. Like, how long is that going to last? Can she fuck up somewhere?
No, it is. But
she probably has a great PR team at this point. I also think she's probably a decent person.
What?
I mean,
she's Hollywood. No, I'm just kidding.
You're right. I mean, she has to be a relatively decent person.
Of course.
Otherwise, it would have come out by now that she's this horrible human being.
She can just keep a man, right? You know what I'm saying?
It usually does come out. And by the way, when I was listening to the guy, I couldn't help but listen. They were sitting right next to me. It's not just on that side. I mean, it's both sides, right? I mean, I hate to be a both sides person here. But yeah, there are plenty of people on the left. If they find out they have a friend who votes for Trump, they end the friendship.
I don't get it why people will.
So that's just I hate it that that's just where we are.
It's amazing. That
I have friends who are voting for both.
Of course,
you know what I'm saying. Like that's
me too.
It's like,
and that's the way it should be.
I don't understand people that penalize them. I mean, if they're a friend, you would enjoy hanging out with them, so you're going to penalize yourself and not hang out with them. But the same goes for people that, I won't eat at Chick-fil-A. But you're depriving yourself of something that you like over an ideology that, frankly,
I know.
The ideology is a little more complex than just black and white. I don't know. I'm going to get off my soapbox, except pandas suck.
But that would require more thought.
Except pandas suck.
Yeah.
Said.
Pandas being just awful.
You know what I say about pandas? Fuck them.
Fuck the pandas.
Fuck them.
Wow.
They're a load on society.
Do you hear that, everyone? Marc says, fuck the pandas.
Wrapping it up, one piece of feedback we'll get to. In the meanwhile, if everybody could rate, review, and subscribe or get somebody else to do it, that does help out this little show a lot. Or you can just go to our Patreon, which is Sola Detroit or ML Sola Detroit. Just search it on Patreon. You can find it. We have one new subscriber, and Shawn, you can have the honors of reading who the new subscriber's name is. Just read the part I circled.
Why am I reading that?
Because we like to thank our supporters for supporting us. That's why they're
forcing Shawn.
You want Erika to read it? I don't know if it's ladylike.
No, this subscriber's name is. Oh my God! All right, Penis Breath.
No way.
Just became a member.
It's exactly.
No way. You made that up.
No, show her the email. It's an email from Patreon.
Stop
Someone
it.
subscribes. So thank you. I would personally like to thank Penis Breath for subscribing to our Patreon. It's as little as $5. You can watch the videos. You can see that loser panda attack that Chinese lady today.
You like?
She is in China.
Penis Breath has a gerbil or something as an image.
Oh, well.
Wow. Okay. You know what? Hey,
I'm
we'll
not gonna
take
kink
all
shame.
of the subscribers we can get.
Are you looking for deeper meaning in that, Shawn? Look at you.
No, I was just trying to look at what that character.
I thought you were
Is that
joking.
a cat?
It's real.
Is that a cat or a
better not be a goddamn panda?
A bat?
Oh my God.
A wombat?
You think Bill Morris is glad he didn't hang around for the whole show?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, we were.
Yeah, he's very glad.
He put up with a lot.
He did. He did. I mean, he probably thought this was fresh air, and then
don't let it take away from the book. It's great.
Well, I mean, he's coming on. I mean, I work for the Free
Oh,
Press, and Elrick works for the Free
NPR.
I know,
What
this
is this?
Yeah, I don't know what this is, but
it's a show that people named Penis Breath like to listen to. There's nothing wrong with that. Good for him.
I'm laughing like I'm.
Don't you feel,
It's
Marc,
so
like
ridiculous.
now that we have
Yeah.
Erika here,
Good.
Erika belongs on a much higher level show than this is. Don't
Why?
You? And that you and I are kind of you're a professional.
Talking about
an amateur. No, like she belongs in the Stern Show or something.
What?
You know what I mean?
Why? Because it's so nice now.
No, the voice.
It has changed a lot.
Because
wow.
Because we're actually, but no, we're having fun down here now. I'm not sure why. What's changed or what's different?
Addition by subtraction.
I don't necessarily just mean today.
What'd you say?
What? Who? What's going on? Something happened? Fuck them. Any parting thoughts, Shawn?
No, this was great, and you better come more than. How often are you going to be here?
Watch your phrasing.
Oh.
What happened?
I'll be here a couple times a month.
Can you? Is that it? You can't do more than that.
No, I could probably do more. Well,
are you paying her?
Minimum, I guess. Minimum.
I got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Whatever I can do.
By the way, I found out that our new co-host used to drive an Impala, so that humanizes her a little bit for listeners out there.
I didn't know that.
So
I've driven. We were just talking about the '87 Nova.
It's the Accord for Chevy. You know, the Impala, right? It's yeah.
I drove a Honda Accord for a while.
Did you like the Accord?
I haven't had the best luck with cars.
It sounds like it. I can't believe how many you've had.
A little too boring for you?
Oh, that's not even. I could go down the list.
Oh, really? So never get in a car.
My excuse is I drive a lot. So the more
What
you
happened
drive,
with that Accord? Did it?
I was up north and I slid on some ice and I hit a
Oh.
pole, but the
Oh,
pole
boy.
stopped me from going off of this
Cliff?
Holy shit!
not a cliff, but it was
Slope, a hill.
it was a large slope. So I was very thankful for that pole.
Oh,
it was very icy out.
was it black ice?
Yeah.
Racist.
I had
color
black
of the- why does the color of the ice matter?
I had black ice in a Flex.
Black what?
Ford Flex, and I hit this woman. I wasn't going that fast, but
You hit a woman?
I didn't know.
Jeez.
Murderer? What?
Drive off.
I didn't
Was she
know
walking?
I didn't know it was a woman at the time. But I just was the car in front of me, and I hit her.
You hit the car. Okay.
Hit the car.
That's not nearly as fun.
Yeah,
But
right. He probably hit a woman. There's a warrant. He drove off as a hit and run.
Yeah, no, not quite. But I did. It was a little sedan. It wasn't that, I don't know. It wasn't that big a car. So, and the Flex was a heavy car, and I wasn't going that fast, but it jarred her pretty good. So I wait. We call it, call the cops. I think maybe I called the cops. I called the cops. She turns out called her husband, who worked up at a dealership. He was a mechanic, and he pulls up. He races. I can see he's racing up. He gets out of the car and starts sprinting at me and cussing me.
No.
What the fight? He was going. It was crazy. It was unbelievable. And then the cops had to pull him away.
How hard did you hit her?
I was going 10 miles an hour.
Oh my gosh. Okay,
15,
this guy needs to calm
50,
down.
Maybe 15. I mean, it was coming up to an intersection. I just hit some ice and I just couldn't stop it. Maybe 10 miles an hour at the most.
Huh.
But even
Putting
now
on a
with
show.
that weight, it can snap your neck. And so she claimed my
I don't know if I can
insurance.
snap
She
your
was
neck.
fine.
My insurance company called me and said that she was suing us.
Oh,
and
she's fine.
she got $100,000.
Stop it.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
she did not.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
No
bullshit.
way.
And I didn't know the guy worked at the dealership until I took the Flex in to.
They got $100,000. Stop.
And then I was sitting there. We were getting, a year later, I was getting
For what?
turning the lease in to get another one. And the guy that came screaming up and running up on me, wanting to kill me, was standing right there. And I told the sales guy, I said, "Oh, I remember that guy." And I told him what happened. So he said, "Well, let's get him over here." So he calls him over to the little cubicle, and he says, "Well, maybe." And I said, "Hey, I hit your wife a year ago. How's she doing? I hope she's doing okay." And then he was really nice.
Was he like, yeah, she's doing better? And you go, that's because the $100,000 helped
Right.
her.
The
$100,000 nurse her back to
The
health.
salesman
I
later
mean,
told me that the
goodness.
guy felt really sheepish, and was glad that I called over and asked how his wife was doing. So
That's like a bump.
It's pretty ridiculous.
And the fact that you're like, oh, I hit your wife a year ago. I mean, you probably were like, I tapped her. No, and I keep using the wrong phrase.
does anybody use
I tapped your wife a year
expression
earlier.
Does anybody use that expression anymore? Oh,
What?
actually, I heard it last year. Why didn't you tap that?
Yeah.
Who was asking you that?
Somebody in the family.
what?
Give us the story.
Wait, someone asked you that?
Well, no, not me. I was.
that's
in
what I was saying.
I was in a group where somebody said to somebody else, "Why didn't you tap?" So I guess I have heard that word.
I swear every time I say something to you, your answer is always not what I expected.
Ever.
But yeah, you clearly use that word, don't you? You like that word.
It's a fun word.
Tapped.
Yeah, it's a good word.
Yeah.
It's different than the slang the kids these days are
Yeah.
using.
I don't know what they use.
What do they say? I don't even know what they say.
For that?
Sus? No.
Oh, sus
Don't
and
know the
Riz.
word.
I mean, they always say hook up. It's a hookup, right?
Next time I'm in, I'm going to bring in all the fun phrases.
Oh, do that. And then we'll quiz.
Is there equivalent? There might not be an equivalent. They're not as aggressive in their language in that way, right? When it comes to that kind of stuff, are they? I mean, or are they?
Why?
I
Because
feel like sometimes they're more.
Are they? They're more blunt about well, it's a hookup, right?
Yeah, but everything becomes a hookup or Netflix and chill.
Oh, that, yeah.
Cool phrase, bro. That's what they would say.
Yeah, that is what they'd say.
Bro.
I'm gonna get my niece in here, and she's gonna educate us.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, you got to bring her in.
Yeah. We'll get her in here.
All right.
And she can teach us a few things.
You hear that, penis breath? Sean's niece is going to come on in, so thank you for subscribing. Yeah. Oh my gosh. What's the guy's name? I'm going to hold it up to the camera so people know. Where's it at?
His name is Penis
true.
Breath, and his avatar is a picture of a cat that looks like he's on ether. Can you see that?
Yeah.
I don't want to know what's going on.
I just
over
love that this
household.
person sat down and was like, oh, crap, I got to put a name in it. Penis breath works.
Yeah, that works.
No, but I appreciate them. I appreciate everybody for listening.
Yes.
What are you writing about this week?
Lions, tigers.
Oh my God, how fun have the Tigers been? I keep forgetting.
Yeah,
about that.
I'll get down there this week.
Yeah,
I'm not going today, but
6
I'll get
games
down there.
left.
Yeah, 6
One
games
game
left.
up.
They might actually do this.
Oh, I think
it's crazy.
They absolutely are.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
Best record in baseball.
So Lions, Tigers, your boys had a big win.
Pretty lucky one. Pretty incredible. I'll take it. A win is a win.
Yeah.
Right? You don't get points at how ugly the win looks.
No. So Michigan State had a painful loss. So I don't know. College football.
All right.
Yeah, we'll see.
Way to plug your stuff. Erika, do you have anything to plug?
I should probably not this week.
Yeah, okay.
Not this week.
There you go. All right. You want to do the honors?
Cyrus, take us out.
Can you dig that?
Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
He changed his life and the town forever.
Are you horny to win? What do you think? I think it's pathetic. Makes a grown man want to cry.
Look at all that phony pseudo-macho posing. I look great. Yeah.
I'm having a ball.
The soul of Detroit.